Hi, Dr. Liora Gubkins, the Dean of the College of Humanities, Arts, Behavioral, and Social Sciences, and I have the great pleasure to be here with Dr. Scott Gross, the Associate Vice President of Industry Partnerships, and a dear friend and the driving force behind the Innovation Hub. So we're here for a few words about the Innovation Hub today. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you. Thanks for the invitation. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, we are excited to have you here, and just a couple questions for you to sort of
Sure.
set the scene with what our viewers and listeners will hear about later today.
Great.
So you oversee our Innovation Hub on campus, and so I was hoping you could tell us about the innovation process.
Yeah, happy to. Thanks for asking. So before I talk about the innovation process, I think it's important to talk about the roots of the Innovation Hub and why it got started. And so really at its core, what we're trying to do is bring faculty and students together with industry so that they can work together and solve problems. That's kind of the basic gist of everything that we're doing. And when we opened the Innovation Hub 3 years ago, we asked ourselves exactly how are we going to go about doing that? How are we going to bring faculty and students together with industry to solve problems? And we realized that we needed a little bit more scaffolding and framework. And so we worked hard to come up with an innovation process, which is not rocket science. As a matter of fact, those who look at it will see design thinking, really, which is the core of it. But it has 5 stages, and we always start with problem defining. So it's important, whether it's faculty, students, or industry, we want to be really clear about the problem that we're trying to solve, because otherwise we can spin our wheels or come up with solutions to something that we think are really cool but don't actually solve a problem. So we're really clear about the problem we want to solve, and then the next stage is ideation, where we brainstorm a bunch of potential solutions to address that problem. The third stage is design and prototype. So you're going to pick one of those ideas that you brainstormed, and you're going to design it out and come up with a prototype if it's a product, or maybe an intervention or a curriculum, depending on what your solution really is. The fourth step is to test and see if your solution actually works. If it doesn't, you're going to go back to that list you created in the ideation phase and pick a different solution. Once it does work in the testing phase, then you move to the final step, which is implementation. This is also the time when you're implementing your solution, that might look like starting a business. It might look like getting a patent, or it might look like going and providing services to people. So the implementation has a bunch of different ways it can look.
Great. So I'm curious, as you're talking about bringing together the faculty and the students and the industry, the role that you see for CHABSS students and faculty in particular. Is there something distinctive that CHABSS brings to the table?
Absolutely. And I think, I love that you use the word distinctive, because CHABSS is bringing something that the other colleges aren't necessarily. President Neufeld, when the Innovation Hub started, talked a lot about what she referred to as social innovation. Social innovation is this idea where we take those 5 steps that I just talked to you about, and usually in an innovation environment, those 5 steps point toward a new robot, or a new pharmaceutical drug, or a new product, like an iPhone. Those are all great. We want innovation to yield those exciting inventions. Social innovation is where you take that process and you bend it towards solving a social problem, right? So think about domestic violence or homelessness or racism. How do you use that innovation process, those 5 steps, and apply them toward helping a social problem get better or maybe even go away? And I think that's where CHABSS really has a foothold. Your faculty in particular bring an expertise to trying to understand those social problems that only they can do. And so I think our work around social innovation in particular is where CHABSS can really shine.
I absolutely agree. And I'm so delighted that we have this partnership, and it's amazing to me that it's actually only been 3 years,
Yeah.
and sort of the growth that I've seen then in the Innovation Hub. And so I was wondering to take us out of this introductory section, if you could tell us a little bit about a signature program that you think is really wonderful on the campus.
Yeah, there are so many to pick from. So the Innovation Hub, I would say for our students, the signature programs probably are the Quick Pitch Competition, which is kind of like our Shark Tank, or the Social Innovation Challenge, which is similar to that kind of pitch competition, but it's really about solutions to a social problem. That's for students. For faculty, I think our signature program is the Innovation Fellows. This is a competitive program where faculty propose that they're going to work on an innovation project, and the provost appoints them into the position, and they get 16 months to work on that project and really, through that process, not only make progress on the project, the innovation that they want to explore, but they also serve as an ambassador for innovation to all faculty on campus. And I will say that CHABSS has had 3 different innovation fellows since we started the program 3 years ago, and so you are well represented as a college. And they're doing cool stuff and coming up with some really interesting discoveries along the way.
Absolutely agreed, and thank you so much for sort of giving us this introduction to the Innovation Hub and some of the important things that we're doing here around innovation at CSUSM.
It's my pleasure. I really appreciate the invitation so that we could highlight the good work.